start again. It's a rich thing.
That's fine. With all of that, with the success you've had, not everything is all rainbows and
roses.
Goods. Yeah, like nothing is, no human being is like that. So in those tough times that you have had, what kept you going? Like what drove you to like just when you wanted to quit, you wanted to just be done with it? What got you like back up and ready to go at it again?
So, like I was saying earlier, I haven't always been like the most faithful person.
Yeah.
But in those times, it was like my faith and spirituality, right? So when I was struggling, I looked to my guardian angels, right? And my guardian angels are my grandmother and my grandfather.
Yeah.
Right? My grandmother is somebody that I've been able to look up to my entire life. A African-American woman from the South, moved to Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
following her dad, because her dad came to Detroit to work at the River Rouge Ford factory, right? Started with nothing. My grandmother would clean hotel rooms and
Wow.
any odd job she could have at that time to just, have money and be able to put food on the table for herself. She married my grandfather at a young age. They had, my aunt and, a short time later, my father. How short is, they can be the same age for a period of time within the same year. So very, very, they're very close together. But, my grandmother passed away when I was 15. I was a freshman in high school. A lot of folks kind of grow up with that vision of like their grandparents are going to be around for their entire life.
Yeah.
They're going to get to see them graduate high school. They're going to get to see them graduate college and get to see them get married and all that stuff. I didn't have that. My grandfather passed away when I was 21. Like, literally was planning to go see him for spring break, because he lived in Florida. So obviously I'm going to Florida for spring break. Literally planning to go see him, and in that February of that year he passed away. Right. So but they've always been inspirational, right?
Yeah.
People that I could look up to. Coming from tough times. My grandfather came from tough times in Cincinnati. Growing up as a kid, and that's kind of how he ended up in Detroit. And they both worked extremely hard. My grandmother, she owned about 50, 60 homes in Detroit at one time that were all rental houses. Always moving. She never slept. I don't know when my grandmother slept.
Sheesh.
Like, she would lay down to go to bed, and before you could look up, she was already awake again.
Dude, they don't make a lot of women like that anymore.
No.
For sure.
She was a very special woman and very inspiring. So, that's what always kind of kept me going. Like I said, having that spirituality and that faith at the time, when things were getting really rough, I wasn't sure I was going to pass an exam, or things in my personal life weren't great. I wasn't sure I was going to get a job. I always did and still do, look to them for their direction.
Man, what a story, man.
Yeah. I've been on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean before at a rave party.
Holy shit, by the way.
Yeah, holy shit. Just sitting on my balcony in my room, with like all these different things going through my mind. No drugs, maybe some alcohol, plenty of alcohol. But just, all this crap going through my mind and just sitting there and going, you know what? I think I need some direction right now. I feel I'm not on the right path. I need direction.
Yeah.
Right. And getting those, what, maybe signs, may not be signs or whatever, but, to me, I took them as signs as, these are the decisions you should make instead of this. Right. So, that has helped me tremendously, getting to like those roadblocks and being able to just have that faith and just know that the path will open.
Yeah.
Right. As much as it seems blocked, it will open. And kind of going through that hurdle or that wall is what makes you a little tougher and helps build you and make you who you are. So
The skin's going to be a lot tougher the more you go through.
Tough in the skin. Right.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
One of the last questions I do want to pose is, being in the engineering space, you have to be creative. You have to create solutions, because engineers are just problem solvers, right? So what keeps you in such a creative mind space to keep innovating and creating things that don't exist yet?
For me, I think it's just like the high you get of problem solving.
Yeah.
right? And a lot of people will not ever be able to understand this. And I talk about this with like coworkers, my boss, like we talk about this all the time, right? Especially as manufacturing engineers. You know, there's design engineers and I'm not saying other engineers are not good engineers, right?
True.
You know, that everyone is great at what they do. I'm just saying we are a special breed of different. We sometimes put ourselves through a lot of stuff, but just always thinking. I think like 24, well, except for when I'm sleeping. I probably think then too, as don't realize it. Think in the shower. You know, sometimes my wife will go, you know, why are you in the shower for so long? So sometimes I'm just standing there like just thinking, you know, I don't know what about, but like just stuff. There's always, and like tons of stuff will just pop into my head.
Does your wife ever say to you like, it feels like you're not really here and your mind is somewhere else?
There's plenty of times I'm just like staring off into space and she'll go, what the heck are you thinking about or doing over there? Like I do that a lot. I've done that even since I was a kid. I've always been a little different and not like, you know, I was never really quote unquote popular for as many people that,
yeah, look at us now.
Yeah, I know, right? For as many people that knew me when I was a kid or whatever, you know, I wasn't, you know, the most popular kid or whatever. I wasn't athletic or anything like that for the most part, but I was always thinking about like what I could do, how I could do things different, how I could be better, you know, stuff like that. So
good, man. That's good. That's good enough for me.
Keep thinking.
Never stop thinking. Always. I think CI is really important. So continuous improvement, just incrementally, just doing better and better every single day,
Every
just
day.
by a smidget. Because at the end of a year, you're going to have 365 things that you didn't know the year before.
Right.
Yeah, and that makes you more valuable in a workspace. And also, if you have your own business or want to start something on your own,
makes your
that's going
personal
to make you
life
better.
more valuable. Yeah, exactly. You know, and we learned that just physically. You know, my wife and I, when we lived in Chicago, we started a goal board. So it's just a dry erase board, and we put goals on it that were things we wanted to do that month, which could have just been something simple enough down to like what days we were going to go on a date.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Right. So like, oh, this weekend we want to do a date night, and you know, I would plan it or she would plan or whatever.
Yeah.
Or when we want to take a vacation or drive home to see my parents or anything like that. But we also had 1 year goals, right? So there were these 1 year goals of like, okay, we're going to look for jobs, or we're going to look for a new apartment, or, you know, just, you know, whatever those 1 year goals were. And then we had 5 year goals, you know, so stretch goals, but things that we knew we wanted to do within like the next 5 years. And interestingly enough, like those things that you want to do every month, like those are kind of just like your day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
Right. So like those are going to get done. But interestingly enough, like a lot of the crap on the 5 year goal side got finished within like the first 6 months.
That's it. It's the vision.
Like, yeah. Just having the vision and the drive.
There's literally nothing else to it. If you guys have ever heard of The Secret, it's a book and then they made it into a movie. You have to think it and you have to make steps on accomplishing those goals. And this is the fruits of his labor. This is the result of that. And I don't know what else people need to see, what people need to hear, that visualizing something in the future and actually accomplishing it, that is the meaning of life, in my opinion. Having goals and accomplishing those goals. That's why you have to have a reason to get up every morning. And that's seriously.
Whatever
that's
that reason may be, you know, if you have kids, you know, I'm getting up and, you know, I want to do better for my children, you know, if it's, you know, if you're just, you know, married or even if you're single, you know, like I want to get up every day and, you know, accomplish X, Y, and Z, you know, better my career or just better my personal life, become healthier, you know, work out more or whatever, right? Just having those little things continue to make you a little bit better and continue to progress you through life and make you happy.
Yeah,
right.
That's number one, is to make sure that you're happy and you make yourself happy and you don't let anyone else control your happiness.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yep.